UFC Hall of Famer Ronda Rousey has talked more about fighting in the past few months, while supporting the release of her autobiography, than she did during the final few years competing in the sport. She's discussed openly how a multitude of concussions ultimately led to her retirement, and it was actually a concussion prior to her fight against Holly Holm that played such a pivotal role in her first loss. Recently, Rousey claimed that she's been vilified by the MMA media and her accomplishments have been shrouded in negativity so much that she's convinced she would get booed out of the building if she showed up to a UFC event. Recently, retired UFC legend Matt Brown doesn't really see why Rousey is complaining so much, especially given her particular level of celebrity. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is, what's the problem? Brown said on the latest episode of The Fighter vs. the Writer. Like, is she complaining? What's the problem? Maybe people have said bad things about you. Welcome to being a human. Welcome to being famous. What did you expect? It's not like she was out saving babies and shit. She wasn't out there putting her best foot forward all the time. What do you expect? Michael Bisping would have been a UFC Hall of Famer whether or not he knocked out Luke Rockhold on that fateful night at UFC 199, and the same thing applies to Dustin Poirier. And it explained. Going into the Benoit St. Denis fight, I said that if there is any legacy on paper right now in the UFC that really doesn't need an undisputed championship, it's Dustin Poirier's legacy. So, yeah, he's fighting for that ultimate capstone. And I guess, maybe, he's fighting for all-time great status, if not Mount Rushmore status. If Rousey really wants to understand why she's fallen out of favor with UFC fans, Brown says she has to look no further than the litany of interviews she's given in support of her book release. She's laid out a long list of reasons why she struggled in losses to Holm and Amanda Nunes at the end of her career. Rousey has stated specifically that those losses stung her so much worse than anyone else because no one has ever loved being a UFC champion like she did. Through it all, Rousey explained all the things that went wrong during her UFC career, but she's barely addressed Holm or Nunes as opponents, much less what they did right to beat her.